Morning.
Good morning.
Goeiemorgen.
Aloha.
Yeah, we dressed up. We're getting ready for this weekend's massa braai. Nie massa braai, nie massa braai. It's mass barbecue, but we're going to use wood. We're going to plan a mass braai at Saturday afternoon from about 3:30 or something like that. We're going to run a Zoom for everybody. I'll give the final Zoom link ups before the time. So be on the lookout for that. So if you're ready for a braai on Saturday, and I know we're all in lockdown, so you braai at your own home. If we've got the right of way to get a few people down here, I'll invite a few people to join the braai. But until then, yeah. Things happened about 4 years ago. I had this feeling in me, and I went to her and I said to her, I'm struggling in this country. For myself, I can't see a future in this country. And her eyes just became wider and wider and wider. And then I had this famous golden minute where I said, let's immigrate. You still remember that?
I still remember that.
What a journey. What a journey. Yep.
Yeah.
So,
and he said to me, he wants to immigrate. And I was, yeah. And then he said, now there's this talk at some hotel or something about immigrating to New Zealand. And he's going, do I want to come? And I thought, okay, I'd better go. And we listened to the talk and we went home. And I thought, okay, that was it. And then I heard now he scheduled a one-on-one session with this guy. And the next thing I hear, he's got a job opportunity in New Zealand. And wow. Yeah, well.
Next thing I said, well, let's go for a holiday. She said, where? I said, New Zealand. She said, where's that? I said, look on the map, because I had to. So once we've made that decision, we knew there's no turning back. We knew there's no way around. So that was in 2016, eh?
Yeah.
2016, we traveled to New Zealand. We met up with quite a few players in the insurance industry. We met up with a few immigration officials. I actually met with Vanita. Vanita forgot that I had an appointment with her. That was also one of my first places where I walked into the house and somebody was without shoes.
Yeah, it was kind of funny.
I thought, what kind?
Yeah.
So these days I'm without shoes and everybody else in New Zealand is without shoes, and we understand why. So it's just a different culture and getting used to that.
Yeah.
The reason why we have this talk this morning is the fact that there's a lot of people now looking to move to New Zealand. There's a lot of people asking a lot of questions. A lot of these questions is, what do I do? How do I get to New Zealand? Now, I'm not going to tell you how to get to New Zealand. It's easy. You don't, because there's no planes really running. But the other questions that we need to answer this morning is, what do I bring?
Yeah. I saw quite a few posts over the last few weeks of people that's saying that they're coming. So I presume it's
probably essential people and so on. Yeah,
people that can come, and they're
I'm
asking.
glad you guys are coming.
The
Already.
Question again: what do I pack? What do I bring? And I know that this is quite a personal question.
Personal choice,
no one thinks the same.
No.
So I think it depends on where you are, at what stage of your life you are when you immigrate, what stuff you have kind of bought over the last few years, how old you are, all that kind of stuff makes a difference. We can only speak from personal experience.
It's not personal experience. I'm thinking about the stuff that I brought over for me personally, stuff that was like my telephone. I probably believe everybody will bring their own telephone. My computers, my printers. I just printed in the background. I just replaced about 6-8 months ago. My South African printer worked 100% until then.
You just changed the plugs.
Yeah.
What we did is before we came, because we were here in 2016, and we walked around in the shops and we saw what the furniture cost and what the appliances cost. Yes, and I agree. Once you live here and you earn dollars, then the appliances it's not expensive actually.
Yep.
But when you're still on South African rand,
and I think the fact was, to burst in here, was the fact was we had this stuff.
no, we didn't have all the stuff.
No,
We bought
not
new
all the stuff, but
Yeah.
we had a lot of stuff.
We
like
had a lot of
if you
stuff.
walk into my sitting room, all my couches there was about 2 years old, 3 years old.
Yeah.
To have sold that in South Africa would have meant I
You
would have
wouldn't have
gotten
gotten anything for it.
even if I got a third for that, I wouldn't have been able to rebuy that this side. So
what we did is before we came, we bought quite a few new appliances, like the Kenwood mixers and
Yep.
coffee machine and all that. And when we got here, we just changed the plugs, and it works perfectly.
I actually low in the bottom there's still a South African multi-plug.
For some of them,
some of the computer
stuff.
stuff, I just couldn't change every plug on them because some of these is hardwired into a transformer and stuff like that. So all of that is on there. So it just made it much more sense.
Yeah.
I think the speakers down here is still South Africa. A lot of stuff in the office is actually still South
I
Africa.
still have quite a few. And in our instance, I'm very glad that we brought what we brought. We brought over a container. At that stage, when we moved in 2018, it was, how much was it? 80,000?
No, it was 65,000.
Okay, I heard it's now about 80,000.
80,000.
And let me tell you, if you are okay with buying secondhand furniture, which is not a problem,
yeah, okay.
you get quite a.
Or the flat pack stuff.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
If you buy secondhand furniture from the op shops, they are great. You get really nice stuff.
But some of that stuff is dodgy.
But then you can set up house if you want to do that. That's perfectly fine. But if you want to buy new furniture,
I want to say it this way around. And she's got a different brain than I have. I've got a financial brain, so I look at the finances. Let's say your container costs you, let's say, 100,000 rand or $10,000 a year. Okay. So you bring all your stuff you have. Let's say your stuff is not in that bad shape. It's in good nick. You can still use it for a few years downside. I'm not talking, don't bring the stuff you want to throw away because it will just waste up space in the container. Let's say bring a full container. Full container, we could pack a 3-bedroom house.
yes,
And we packed a lot of extra stuff as well. I'm not saying I shouldn't have brought the extra stuff, but some of the stuff we didn't really need at the end of the day. If you take $10,000 and you come and buy new furniture down here, how far will you go with $10,000? I'm talking don't buy rubbish, don't buy op shop.
if you buy
don't
nice
buy a second
stuff, if you buy nice furniture,
buy decent beds, stuff that will last you another 10 years.
And
you get 2 beds and a lounge suite.
maybe a
for
television.
10,000. Probably television as well. Okay, let's throw a TV in there as well. So you got 2 good beds, a lounge suite, and a television for roughly about $10,000. Yeah.
That's if you buy good
quality,
furniture.
and I'm not talking op shop.
The thing is, what I find in New Zealand, I'm at the stage now where when I go and buy some kind of furniture, I ask them, is this already assembled? Because everything comes in a flat pack and you have to set it up, and it's not sturdy. It's not like the stuff
that chipboard type of
it's not
furniture.
sturdy. So if you want to buy good quality furniture, you're really going to pay a pretty penny for it, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah. Let's put the camera a bit more on you. You're actually looking clearer than me this morning.
Yeah, so we brought almost everything.
Yeah.
We even brought our cutlery and our crockery. What I can suggest, the mistake that we made, because I didn't know better, I bought new linen for the beds. And that I should say, maybe don't do that. Bring your beds, but come and buy your linen, your duvet covers and duvet inners on this side, because the bed sizes differs from South Africa. So you're going to struggle to get something to fit on your duvet inner. But it's not a problem if you bring your South African beds. You just adjust the sizes. You just buy a bigger size or a smaller bed or whatever. It's not impossible to do that. But don't bring new linen and all that. And also what I did is I brought curtains, which wasn't necessary because all the houses has got curtains in. Unless you've got curtains that you really, really, really like, then you can bring it for one day when you buy your own house. Then maybe you can put up your own curtains. But I wouldn't have bought the curtains if I knew.
Luckily, our dishwasher was old. And we sold that. And luckily, our double door, massive double door fridge was old as well, and we sold that as well. So those two items, the double door fridge wouldn't have fit in any house, not even the new house. And the dishwasher, every house comes with a dishwasher. If you're renting or not, it comes with a dishwasher. So
Yeah.
just keep that in mind. If it's stuff that's already here, don't bring it.
But don't buy a new, very bulky lounge suite and bring that over with you. We've got quite a big lounge suite, and we were lucky. All the houses that we lived in, it fitted. But most of the houses that we had a look at, it wouldn't have fit in. So don't bring your biggest choreographed
Yeah.
furniture that you've got.
Or the biggest leather set that you do have. The she looked at a sitting room set the other day. That was about lounge suite. Sorry, lounge suite. That was a sitting room. That was about $3,500.
Yeah, and it's not
It
a
wasn't
fancy
flash.
thing.
Yeah, just
No.
about $3,500.
Yeah.
We bought a bed now, and it's a good bed. I actually insist on buying a good bed. And I think we actually got it for a bargain. It was at 50% off discount, and it was $2,500, something like that, $2,500. So that's my point. If you buy two beds, it's $5,000.
Yeah.
A lounge suite, another it's 8.5. Then you got money left for television and a few cutlery. That's $10,000 gone.
And so if you've got nice stuff,
I like this one.
You can bring it. That's a very good
3
one.
times stainless steel briars.
Bring it.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
Bring it.
Another thing, I see a lot of people that say, or I hear a lot of people that say, "Oh, I should have brought my caravan from South Africa." Yes.
Don't.
The caravans are much cheaper in South Africa. It's very expensive in New Zealand, but your South African caravan will not work.
Yeah, it's not the same thing.
The caravans in New Zealand has got double glazed windows, heaters inside. So it's totally different.
Yeah, most of
level.
our caravans that they import comes from either England or Germany or so on. So
they're specifically
made for colder weather. Yeah. And they work.
Yeah.
They work. A charm. I promise you. We've been in the in Owakuni the other day near Whakapapa, and that was basically 2 degrees most nights outside.
And we sat with our summer clothes, slept with summer pajamas.
Most of the times.
Yeah, so it's just not the same.
Yeah.
What I would suggest is if you've got a trailer, I think bring your trailer. Trailers are very expensive.
Yeah, if you've got a Fender or something like that, chuck it in. What else was that? Oh, boats. If you do have a boat that is for the ocean,
try to bring it.
Throw it in. That's an expensive item down here as well. And the Kiwis aren't very big on twin motor boats. They do single motors because we've got a very good coast guard to come and fetch you. So getting a boat probably a good idea.
And what I suggest you don't bring is your gas bottles.
Yeah, you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to bring the gas bottle.
Oh.
You can bring your I don't know, somebody has sold the adapter because the gas
the
head,
fittings.
The head doesn't fit.
Yeah, I know. It's something like.
You're not allowed to put a gas bottle in the container.
Okay. I actually meant don't bring stuff that works with gas that you bought in South Africa.
Boom.
Don't bring your gas braai from South Africa.
Don't bring a gas braai. Bring your Weber. Bring your Weber. I bought a Weber the other day, and it was quite an expensive one. And I'm glad I bought it. It's a brilliant thing. But yeah.
Then another thing that you have to remember is when you get to New Zealand, you're probably not going to move into your rental immediately, or you can move into your rental immediately, but you won't have your furniture because I don't know how long the containers take at the moment. For us, it was 42 days, but I'm sure that it must be longer now. It must be longer now with COVID. So just remember that we rented an Airbnb for the 42 days that we didn't have a house, and at that time we looked for a rental, and we were very lucky and blessed, I should say. The day that we left the Airbnb and moved into a house was the day that our container was delivered.
That's planning. That was planning to the. Now what she doesn't know, there was a 1 day gap, and we arranged for the Airbnb just to stay a day longer. Otherwise, we would have been in.
Luckily, you didn't tell me that. I would have gone. Oh!
The reality of the stuff is, I go to a lot of South Africans and I take my own chair. because
Yes.
they come here,
Yeah.
they buy camping what's that, camping chairs, and they buy blow up mattresses,
Which is not a problem.
and
Like,
that's that.
a lot of people
Mm.
live like that, and it's
Oh
really
yeah,
not a
oh yeah,
problem.
oh
You
yeah.
just buy yourself all your camping
What I
gear.
would love to have is get a lot of guys together and get their older furniture and just have this ready for people just to borrow for that period of time. That would have been lovely.
What you get a lot is people that come here and move into their rentals and don't have any furniture. You put it up on Facebook, and I can promise you, in a week's time, you'll have everything you need. The South African people that are here are
Yeah.
very generous. You just borrow it, you can give it back
No,
again,
give
or
it
you
back
can
again.
just pay
Yeah.
it forward again. So when your furniture arrives, you can just set up house. So
Quick
anything is
question
possible.
there. Thank you, very useful info. How much does a container cost to ship now? I've heard yesterday of containers costing about 100,000 rand, and I've heard between 85 and 100,000. That's roughly what containers cost now. That's for 20 foot. We got a 3-bedroom house in a 20 foot,
And there was
and there was
still
still
space.
space. So we could have
And
bought
we
more.
bought a lot of extra appliances, and I am very sad that we didn't bring more of our stuff. We had a lovely outdoor wooden table and chairs and stuff, and because everyone said don't bring your wood, it's not allowed to bring wood or whatever, we left that behind, sadly, because that was really something that I would have loved to bring over with us.
Yeah.
So we sold a lot of things, and the thing is, what we did is when we're trying to get rid of our stuff, I just said, you know what, it's only going to be the three of us. It's me and you and Zon. We're not going to entertain like we used to in South Africa.
Oh,
So
my
let's just get rid of most of the stuff. And I bought small Pyrex, what do you call it?
Bucket.
What's wrong with me?
You're running out of English.
Pyrex dishes.
You're running out of English.
Because it's not only going to be the three of us. And, well, now I have already...
Well, some nights there's about 20 to 30 to 40 people.
Yeah, but not that. It's just that bring your stuff. You're going to use it. I don't know what I thought. I don't know if I thought I'm never going to make friends again or what I thought. But yeah, you'll need it one.
Let me run a banner to show people I'm not an immigration advisor. So the immigration advisor that we use is Vanita. So I don't give immigration advice at all. And I know there's a lot of people who want to ask me all these strange immigration advice questions. Another thing that I'm sad I didn't bring, but I see something. I think it's something from Homer's got them now. It's tootnape roasters.
Oh yes.
I don't know what the tootnape roaster is.
I don't know. I don't.
So
anyway, a braai roaster.
Yeah, a very good barbecue stainless steel.
Yes.
Yeah, a decent one. I'm not talking about cheap rubbish, because cheap rubbish doesn't last at all. I actually had one that was about, was that thing about 20 years old or so? And it just was on its last legs, and I just threw that away in South Africa. So I'm sad I didn't buy myself a new one down there and brought that with.
And I think if you've got diving gear, I saw someone asking about diving gear. I think bring it. Your spear guns,
bottles, all
you
those.
You just have to wash
it's
it,
very,
clean it
very expensive down here.
Yeah, just clean it very nicely and bring it, because you're going to pay a lot of money for it. Yeah, I don't know about the fishing rods and stuff. I don't know what that costs.
Well, the thing is, I can't tell you what fishing rods cost, because then you're gonna kill me. So the fishing rods aren't $20. I always tell you it's only $20. But the thing is, if you got the stuff, bring it. Because otherwise, you've got to rebuy it this side. You've got to buy it at the new price. Even second-hand fishing equipment down here is very, very expensive. Really, it's crazy expensive. Another thing that's very expensive, and you guys won't believe me, it's the lead weights. The lead weights, either for diving or for fishing. That lead weights that you tie to your fishing gear, it's very expensive compared to what South Africa is. I'm sad we didn't bring a ton of that stuff, because we could have fitted heaps of that into the container.
Yeah.
And I mean, container doesn't go about weight; it goes about the size of the stuff. So that's quite expensive down here. You will pay a lot.
But then on the other hand, you'll get people that say sell everything, don't bring anything, buy everything here, and it works for them.
And
So
let's be realistic regarding this. If you've got a lot of stuff that is really has had its days. Let's say if you have had everything in your house for 20 years and it's really old, it's probably a good idea not
yeah,
to bring
no,
that.
I agree.
It
I
will
agree.
cost more to bring that than what it's worth, basically. But the stuff that you do have, and you have to rebuy it this side, it's expensive. If you buy quality, there is cheap knockoff chipboard things that doesn't last long. Stuff that you do throw away. I'm thinking about those two beautiful chairs you bought the other day. We made a fire the other night of them, and nobody's ever sat on them. They just pulled apart
No,
where they were
that's
standing.
what I say. The quality of the
Quality of
furniture
stuff
is
is
not
not good.
what you
And we paid
used
something
to.
like $130 for the two or something. Yeah, it was,
Yeah, well, so
yeah,
I think it's different for everyone.
different for everyone, and it's a choice to make. Do you bring or don't you bring? Do you have value or don't you have value? But think what you can buy from this. Go and look at places. We're not getting sponsored for this, I promise you. Look at like Target. We like to buy stuff from Target. We've never bought anything from Freedom. They never have anything that we really like.
I
Think
never
about that.
really go in
We've
there.
been there the other day.
Yeah, well,
We sorted all it out. It didn't really.
yeah. Between there are quite a few nice,
Quite a few nice ones. Yeah.
furniture stores.
Stores.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
When did Jogs arrive? In
2 years ago.
2020, 2019. One of our Jan's sister's daughter came, and her husband lived with us for a few months, and in that time when they got a rental, I went with him to buy some furniture because he wanted to set up house before his wife arrived. How nice is that?
I think he just had his own idea of what to buy. So.
And he made the sum afterwards. He bought new stuff, but not expensive stuff. And he said he could have brought 2 containers full of furniture for the amount of money that he paid for the furniture. And that was not expensive furniture. So, yes.
All right, let me read a few of these things. Anel saying, bring containers and containers of stuff, 2 with furniture and 1 with over-the-counter meds and woolly stuff. I don't know how big house you must have if you bring 2 containers full of furniture. Goodness me. Vanita saying, if you have fairly new items that will work in New Zealand, bring it. Yep, good idea there. Vanita also saying, yes, South African fridges does not fit in New Zealand.
No, they don't. Our fridges are much bigger in South Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would
Or
suggest
the one that we
just
had
buy
in
it
South Africa.
here.
You can probably buy a small fridge as well in South Africa.
We brought our tumble dryer and our washing machine. I'm still using my washing machine.
Still running like crazy.
Yeah. The tumble dryer, I didn't make it, but
No, the tumble dryer was
it worked quite a
Yeah,
while.
it was
We
about
had
6
it
years
for
old when we bought it.
No, it
Brought
was not.
it,
It was
brought
not a
it,
new
yep.
one.
No.
But yeah, we just changed the plugs and it works perfectly. So you can even bring that if you want to.
Yeah.
I am not sure.
And for the guys, tools.
Yes, that's what everyone says.
Yep, it's
Just
expensive,
pack it nicely so that it doesn't rust. Eh?
But listen to this. Don't go and buy electric tools, the battery pack stuff. The ones you get in South Africa and the ones in New Zealand are 2 total different ones. So if you have to replace the ones in New Zealand, you can't buy the same stuff as you had in South Africa. I still got some of my South African drills and stuff that's handheld, that works, but I had to go with a whole new brand, and these things, the batteries aren't interchangeable, and that's a bit of a problem. So I had to buy way more stuff than I actually needed. So
okay, yeah, that makes sense.
What else is there? Yeah, nothing that side. There's one comment there that I missed there. Don't bring TVs, rather buy my TV that I brought worked for about 2 years, but it wasn't a new television.
Yeah, and televisions are not that expensive.
I was actually thinking back about that this morning. It cost us another 1,500 rand just to create that television. And if you'd used that and added a few bucks more with, you could have basically bought a new TV down this side up. So one thing I have found was that it was about a year that we were here when the new Samsung S20 5G thing came out. And I looked at prices because at that stage my son was coming back from South Africa here, and I thought he could buy me one day. It was about 6,000 rand cheaper here than it was in South Africa.
Okay.
So
Some
that's
of the
just that's
things
weird.
are less
Yeah, some of the
expensive
things
here
are
than
less
they are in
expensive,
South
but
Africa.
the thing is, if you come and buy new stuff, it's still going to cost you money out of your pocket.
Someone says,
I want to put this up. Let me
mm,
put this up. And sadly, you can't do this. Fill your container with family and friends. You will miss them here. Yeah, that's the one sad part that you can't put in a container.
I'm at the point where when someone starts to talk about family, I just want to cry.
Yeah.
Can't help myself.
So
Yeah, you will really miss them.
Vanita is probably the only person who has got a microwave that was bought back in 1996. It
And it
still
still
works.
works.
We haven't replaced it. I'm on the verge of replacing my microwave that I bought in New Zealand, and I'm only here for 3.5 years now.
Starting to rust.
Starting to rust at the bottom. So.
Yeah. And anyway,
Um,
what else?
Cars can be a problem if you want to bring a car.
I don't know if it's worth it.
I don't know if it's worth it. Cars are cheap in New Zealand. I actually spoke to somebody yesterday who's got a $50,000 car standing in his driveway, can't drive it. New Zealand won't allow him. There's a lot of stuff he needs to fit on that. At the end of the day, it won't be worth it. So it's a bit of a lawn ornament, as my my esteemed mechanic calls my boat. So
Anel says it's her 18-month anniversary in New Zealand today. The anniversary.
Still young. Early days.
And if you think back, wasn't it just the best
Yep.
choice that you could ever make, eh?
There's people going back. Sadly enough, there are
back.
people going back. But I speak to a lot of these people, and I try to speak to a lot of these people. I want to find out why are they going back. And the main thing why people are currently going back, it's all about the chances from immigration to get residence. These people aren't going really back. One or two are going back because they can't, or that are in the split family portion that's currently going back because they miss their family. That I fully understand. But there's a few families that's going back to regroup in South Africa to move somewhere else. So, yeah, that's the main reason why people are currently going back. They have got no confidence anymore in this immigration process. Sadly enough.
And then there are a few people going back just because they can't see their family.
Yeah, that's a split family problem.
Which makes absolute sense.
That is so hard, so. It's so hard, so. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
But we've been here for nearly 4 years. We are truly blessed. I can promise you, if I look at the whole COVID problem in South Africa, COVID problem here, I think we are in a much better space here than what we would have been there, to be quite frank.
Financially,
yes. I miss my grandkids like crazy, that I really, really do. I spoke to my son this morning on video call in Bahrain. He's there now. He can't even return to South Africa. Yeah, the joke is he's got to be out of the country today at 5 o'clock. He's leaving Bahrain. He's going to fly out to Dubai and then fly back into Bahrain because he can only stay in Dubai or in Bahrain for 90 days. Then he's got to go back in isolation. He's been out of the country for a few hours, back into isolation for 10 days.
Yeah.
But he's not allowed to fly back he's allowed to fly to South Africa, but he's not allowed to get back because South Africa is a red country. They're not allowed back in.
Yeah.
It's hectic. I wish I could fly him out here. So.
Yes.
All right, let's say something positive. Saturday, we're going to Braai, Massa Braai. Big lot of people on Zoom. I'll send you all the links. What else is there? Hopefully, Jacinda will change her mind about us being naughty down here in Tauranga on Friday afternoon. And she'll say, you guys can braai on Saturday, all of you together.
What if all the women make a very interesting side dish with the braai, and then we can share the recipes of that? Right? You always wonder what to make with your braai.
You call it a salad?
A salad or a potato dish or I don't know, whatever. I know some people make very interesting side dishes.
Let's do that.
Let's do that.
Let's do a bit of recipe swinging. Vanita asking, are you planning to crash Zoom on Saturday? I'm planning to go for gold. Going to go massive. Let's hope we can get 100 people. We've got the South African social page or social club, and we're going to add the Zoom link there, but I'll add it on all the other pages as well. So please, guys, pop up, Saturday, come say hi for the braai. And if you're in South Africa, I've braaid at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's no problem. But don't drink too much at 6 o'clock in the morning. You're going to face your wife the whole day. All right, that's us. Let's see. Well, that's two comments coming quickly. Let's see what else they. Jolene Spears says, also my husband was saying a laptop computer setup is way more expensive in New Zealand. He feels he should have bought that in South Africa. I fully agree. Once you are working here and you're earning dollars, you look different at stuff.
Yeah.
We were actually talking the other day to a guy, and I said, it's easy for us to take out $100 and pay that for something here, but we wouldn't have paid 1,000 rand in South Africa for the very same product.
Yeah, isn't it funny?
It's weird. That's a way that, yeah. And sometimes I got to think back to it and say, oh, would you have paid that amount of money for that in South Africa? And
you wouldn't.
But I won't compare. I won't compare this morning. It's worth it. We live in a beautiful place. So, all right, guys and girls, that's us. Thank you very much. And let's play out with our. What are you going to say goodbye to people?
I want to, but you talk so
you're
much.
Not a kiwi, man. Say bye.
Enjoy your day. Bye.
Bye.